Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing.
Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 581 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. I'm happy you're here. I hope it finds you happy and healthy and making choices in your life that feel good and right for you. Sometimes we need a little reminder that our life is what we make of it, and we have a lot of power to make it feel really good, but we forget that. As an interior designer, I have people tell me all the time when they find out I'm a designer, they'll say, "Oh, I need a designer," or "I wish I could afford to have you come to my house." And I too wish I could help every single person feel good in their home, because you should feel good about the place that is yours. And that's why sometimes I do these episodes. A lot of times I try to do these episodes where I can help you do one or two things in the house, and I don't have to meet with you in your house to do that, because you should be able to come home after a long day and look forward to spending time in your home. Now, I've seen firsthand many times the power of changing one room into a respite, the power it can have on an entire family. And I love that. I have a client right now she's a high-level executive at a Fortune 500 company. She's always busy traveling for work. She juggles a million responsibilities. She's got kids and a husband, and her husband is also very busy. Now, when we met, it was through a referral, which I love because it comes in with a built-in layer of trust already. But she'd never worked with a designer before, and I could sense there was a little hesitation. I mean, let's face it, designers sometimes get a reputation for being over the top or impractical. So we took it slow. So she wanted to start with one room, her hearth room, which was right off the kitchen. It was a room that she avoided daily because it weighed so much on her, how unwelcoming that room was. Now, when I first walked in and she showed me the room she wanted to start with, I could see why she avoided it. I mean, all the windows were closed behind these thick wooden shutters, so it was really dark. There's a leather recliner in there and mismatched pieces that she wasn't sure what to do with, and the shelves were very cluttered. It was uninviting, to say the least. I mean, it was the kind of room you'd walk past and feel a little heavier. You know what I mean? So she told me she couldn't stand it, but since it was right off the kitchen, she had to pass it so many times a day, and so did everyone in her family. And it was like a constant reminder of something unresolved in her life. Now, during our initial consultation, I took a good look around and I knew all the issues right away. I mean, first of all, the room was dark. No natural light was coming in at all. And the TV was stuck in one of those outdated niches high above the fireplace, which is impossible to watch comfortably. I do not know who came up with that idea years ago. But anyway, the shelves around it were all cluttered, and the floors felt cold and bare, and the lighting, well, there was none. It was non-existent except for a ceiling fan with those awful bluish tinted bulbs. If you've listened for a while, you know I cannot stand that. I like 2700 Kelvin bulbs, and because the other ones make everything look sterile. You don't really realize it until you put a warm bulb in and you're like, oh my gosh, this feels so much better. But I didn't want to be in that room either when I was standing in it. I knew she was tired of feeling bad every time she walked by, and I didn't want to be in there. I felt bad just being in there. So we got to work. And the first step which is always the first step for me, and that's creating a plan to address every single pain point. So we started with lighting because it is a game changer. Research shows that. The University of Texas did a study that showed that exposure to natural light can boost mood and reduce symptoms of depression. So we prioritized bringing more light into the space. We eliminated the fan light, and we added layered lighting. So a few warm recessed lights to highlight art on the walls, and a couple great lamps, and then some subtle accent lights on the shelves to make the room feel really cozy. We also opened all of the shutters completely. They had been dark, and we actually painted them really light, just like we did the room, which let in so much light because the windows were huge. And that was it instantly made the space feel brighter and more open. And then next we tackled the layout because it was right off the kitchen. We wanted to welcome everyone in there. So that old recliner, it had to go. And we brought in these great, comfortable, modern sofas that were facing each other. And we had a coffee table that was both functional and beautiful because they do live and work. I mean, they spend a lot of time in their home. And there's a study from the UCLA. We decluttered quite a bit. That study showed that cluttered homes can increase stress and anxiety. So we decluttered ruthlessly. I mean, we only kept things that were meaningful on the shelves that told, maybe telling some of our family stories and some of the things that meant something to her. And then for the floors, we added a soft rug to just warm up the space. And like I said earlier, we painted the walls a soft white and added touches of blue, which was her favorite color. So we did pillows and throws, and we had a little bit of blue in the rug. So bonus, studies show that blue can lower heart rate and promote relaxation. So we just turned that room into a little respite for her. The TV niche was tricky because we actually had to just reframe that. We closed it off and we made it so she could add a new TV right on the front, and we lowered it quite a bit. So now it feels great because she doesn't have to, when they're sitting on the sofa, they can actually see it without straining their neck. TVs being too high is a big problem, just FYI. And then, of course, we added some plants, and that was inspired by a study that I have seen from Texas A&M that found that household plants, they actually improve concentration, reduce stress, and even act as natural air filters. Who knew? But every choice was about making this room a place she'd want to linger in, not avoid. And that's what we did. I mean, we made that into a little respite for her. And a few weeks after we finished the space, I got a text from her one morning, and it said, "Heidi, I just want you to know how much joy we get from our new space. Every time I walk by or spend time in here, I have a smile on my face, and my family feels the same. Thank you so much." And as a designer, there's no better feeling than that. In fact, she's called me back and we're finishing the rest of her house, which is great. But that text got me thinking about why it matters so much to have our home feel the way we want it to feel. I mean, we all have an innate desire to love our surroundings. It's hardwired into us. There was a study published, it was in the Library of Medicine, found that well-designed indoor spaces can significantly boost psychological well-being with elements like natural light and decluttered layouts, and they make a measurable difference in your mood. I mean, when you walk into a room that feels chaotic or neglected, it weighs on you. It's not just the problem of it that it's chaotic, it's actually affecting your mood. I mean, it weighs on all of us like that. I mean, it's like a little jab to your mindset every time you walk by it, just like my poor client was dealing with. But when a space is thoughtfully designed, when it's warm and functional and reflects who you are, it actually lifts you up. It's like a partner in your daily life supporting you through the chaos. Now, the client's hearth room wasn't just a room. It was a symbol of how small changes can have a really big impact on your life. I mean, she didn't need to renovate the rest of her house to feel better. I mean, we just transformed that one space, and it totally changed how she and her family moved through their day. I mean, it feels so good to have at least one space in your house that feels that way. Spacious environments that are open and uncluttered, I mean, they actually enhance your creativity and they elevate your mood, even in little small rooms if they're designed well enough. And that's the power of design. It's not about being perfect or following the trends. It's about creating environments that align with how you want to live and feel. So if you're listening and you're thinking about a space in your home that's been dragging you down, I've got a few quick tips to get started. It's all backed by the science of the research that I talked about earlier. First of all, you have to prioritize lighting. Those studies are all over the place that confirm that natural light improves mood and energy levels. So open those curtains, or you can even add a mirror if you want to bounce light around. If natural light is limited though, you can use warm tone bulbs to create a cozy vibe. I do that all the time and it really helps. Second, declutter ruthlessly like your life depends on it. At least like your mood depends on it, because it really does. I mean, cluttered spaces actually spike your cortisol levels. So you don't want to have that. You don't want your poor husband coming in after a long day of work, or you coming in after a long day of work, and then now you have to deal with more stress. Third, think about flow. I mean, arrange the furniture to create clear pathways. Organized spaces reduce anxiety and they make rooms feel way more inviting, especially if they have a natural flow. And listen, if you are feeling stuck and you're like, oh, this is all too much, just start with a mood board. I had a client just recently and I said, look, get on Pinterest, to create a board. It kind of walks you through it, and just pin all the images of spaces that make you feel the way you want to feel, and look for patterns and colors and textures that you're drawn to. And you don't need a big budget to make a difference. Even a single plant or a fresh coat of paint or a decluttering day, that can shift the energy of a space. And if you want more guidance, don't be afraid to reach out to a designer for a consultation. We aren't all so bad. But my challenge to you this week is to fix one small thing that's been bugging you about your home or office. Maybe it's a light bulb that's been flickering, or a drawer that's so cluttered you can't find a thing. Or maybe it's simply seeing and then clearing the clutter from your kitchen counter. My guess is you'll get an instant mood lift. And it didn't even have to take that much. Share this with 3 people who could use a little lift. I love you guys. I'll talk to you in a few days.
Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.